All right, CNT120, we are working on Chapter 4. We're on the section on UDP, User Datagram Protocol. This is another protocol that operates at the transport layer. TCP gave us the reliable data transfer to make sure all the pieces, all the file, all the email, all the web page got there, but that added that three-way handshake overhead. So for any traffic that does not need that reliability and really wants to cut out that overhead, UDP gets used. So anytime we need, anytime there's delay sensitive data, it's going to use UDP. Good examples would be audio and video. Any sort of audio and video transfer is going to use UDP. Some other protocols are also going to use UDP as well, things like DNS and DHCP requests. We'll use UDP, and that will actually speed up that process of getting that information quicker and not delay it. So anytime we're dealing with, again, anything delay sensitive, UDP is going to get used. So right here we have our example from before. Here are some protocols that are going to use UDP, DNS, DHCP, and network time protocol, etc. are all going to use UDP and help with that delay sensitive. So the UDP header is going to be a lot smaller. There's a lot less header fields in it for this quick responsive data, if you will. You'll have your ports, the length, the checksum, and the data. That's it. We don't need all these extra flag fields and everything else to make sure that nothing has gone missing, everything's labeled, etc., etc. So with that in mind, let's see if we can try to take a look at UDP. I'm going to try maybe two different things here to see if we capture. Let me pause while I adjust the screen again. Okay, I'm going to open up our Wireshark again. I'm going to try to clear out this capture from before, and we'll start a new capture. And I'm going to try to load a web page I normally would not load to see if we can generate some UDP traffic. So I'm going to try to come out here and go to something like MLS.com, Major League Soccer. I don't normally visit a page like that. Actually, this is something else. What is this? Multiple listing. Okay, let me go Major League Soccer. Let's see if we can go that route. There we go. That is typically a site I would not visit, so hopefully that has generated some DNS traffic for me to view. All right, now with that in mind, we will do this, and I'm going to try to search for in here DNS and see if we get it. And we do. We do actually have a couple DNS entries. Perfect. That's what we were looking for. So I don't really care what exactly the DNS is, but I just wanted to see the DNS traffic. So in here it looks like we have maybe one of these last ones down here. We have a request reply. Here we go. Here's a request reply. So if I look at the request here, the DNS request, here's the query. I'll see the query was, hey, do you know the address of, what is NHS? Isn't that soccer or something? Mr. Brown is not a soccer fan. Anyway, there's our query. But the more important thing we're looking at is with this DNS entry, here's the UDP header. So with the UDP header, I have the source port coming from my browser going to 53. That's DNS. Here's the header length, the checksum, and that's it. That's all to it. That's the only header fields. If I look at the reply coming back, it's coming from the DNS server, coming back to my browser, length 57, checksum, and then this would be the response down here. And if I look at the query, and hopefully in here, looks like that's still the query. I was going to see if there's a answer down in here. Doesn't look like there is in this one. Maybe there is in this one down here. Here's the query. Okay. Again, we're mainly looking at the UDP header part. And as we see, there's very few header fields that would get for a quick response. The same thing would happen if I do a DHCP request as well. So let me see if we can clear this out. And let me do a new capture on this one as well. And I'm going to open up my command prompt here, and I'm going to do ipconfig, and I'm going to do release. And I'm going to turn right around and do a renew. And that should pick up a new IP address for my machine. Now with that in mind, if we take a peek here, let's try to look for DHCP data. And we do. Here's a release, discover, offer, request, acknowledgement. So let me look at the last one down here. And if I look at this DHCP traffic, I'll see again, this is a UDP header. Source port 67, destination port 68. The two ports that get used for DHCP are 67 and 68. One for client, one for server, if you will. So as I look here, here's my ports, length, checksum, done. That's it. Very few header fields with UDP, and it keeps the overhead down, speeds up that response, gets the data there quickly. So there is UDP.